We chose to research about the Stella de Luz project, which is a commemorative monument to celebrate the bicentennial anniversary of the Mexican independence and the centennial anniversary of the Mexican Revolution. It was built in the years of 2010 and 2011. This project was first introduced to the people by the ex-president Felipe Calderón, current president at that time, as a contest for the elaboration of a monument to celebrate, as we mentioned before, important dates of the Mexican culture and history. The best Mexican architects were invited to participate in this competition. That was announced the 26th of January of 2009. The winner of this competition was announced the 15th of April of 2009. The winning project was called Estela de Luz, designed by the architect Cesar Pérez Becerril. The company hired to make this project happen was Triple I Servicios, which signed the initial contract that stated that the cost of the whole project would be around 300 millions of pesos, of which Triple I Servicios would receive 13% for their services. As the project was developing, numerous modifying agreements took place to change the total cost of the project, reaching a absurd total amount of 1,304 millions of pesos. This outraged Mexican people and accused the Mexican government of corruption. The project faced many problems during its construction. For example, in an interview by Televisa, the general director of Triple I, Ignacio López Rodríguez, claimed that the design of the structure was incomplete, which attributed to the increase of the costs and the time for the project to be completed. He claimed that the poorly but not inconstructible design blueprints for the structure required a lot of modifications and changes so that the final product is safe for public to see and visit. The project was finally inaugurated the 16th of September of 2012, almost 2 years later than the estimated initial ending of the project.
Throughout the course of project evaluation and management, we saw three major points that globalize the content: concept of the value of money, criteria for assessing and selecting alternatives, and the last one, project management and control. Stella de Luz is a real-life example of poor project management. In this course, we learned that the life cycle of a project is divided by 4 phases: defining, planning, executing, and closure, in order for a project to be properly accomplished. In the first phase is where the goals, tasks, and responsibilities are made, followed by the planning phase, where everything defined is a schedule, budget is established, resources and risks are considered, and the staff is gathered. Once you have an idea of how the project is going to look like, you begin the execution. In this phase, it is very important to try and follow schedule. Make sure the whole progress is maintaining its quality because changes in the project may appear. There is a key point in the process called control. This can be considered as another phase for its big relevance. Every goal is monitored and avoids mistakes and big delays for others. When the last task is concluded, the closure phase starts. This phase is very important. The project is officially concluded and handed into the customer. For the team, this phase has value for their feedback. It's where lessons are learned, a full evaluation is undertaken. If all of these phases had been followed and properly worked, Estela de Luz wouldn't have to succeed as a failure and be tremendously late over 3 times the budget established. Having uncertainty in the decisions one taken as a team with the specifications and constant replanning once the project is started is not the way to succeed in a project.
In the transversal skills, first we have the Students Code of Honor from the Tecnológico de Monterrey, which covers topics related about respect, academic honesty, responsibility, and commitment to the community. About the construction rules related to ground and green areas, in the Mexico City there's a law of urban development which states all the regulations about that, and also the Article 27 of the Mexican Constitution states the rules about the use of the land. Talking more about the ethical theories, Aristotle states that the well-being is an activity of the soul in accordance with the best of our virtues. And the utilitarianism, it's an ethical theory which helps to, on an ethical dilemma, states that the current option is the one that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people involved. Making an ethical analysis of our project about Stella de Luz, uh, it is obvious that utilitarianism theory was not applied because it has the greatest good for just a few people, and there was a lack of commitment, transparency, and honesty throughout all the project. The image that the society took was a bad image of the government because it was clear that the government used the money just to enrich themselves. And well, what we can do as a Mexican citizens is to participate to push the government to make laws of transparency. And well, our position as a team about these types of project is that if the money will be spent to make buildings, they should be buildings that will have a good purpose, like a library.
Enjoy making this project because it was what we saw in class applied in real life. We saw the real repercussions of not planning a project well. We applied concepts seen in class and analyzed social factors. Estela de Luz is a project that was born with the idea to celebrate important dates for Mexicans. But the bad planning not just affected the goal of the monument, but also how the society saw the government commitment and honesty. We detected that this project fell into the most common barrier, unclear project. Also, the numerous changes made throughout its development prevented the monument from being carried out satisfactorily. They knew what they wanted to do, but it was not clear to them what they needed to make to the project to be feasible. The structure on the design, the budget, and the delivery time showed data out of reality, and the coordination was poor. Now we know the importance of performing the analysis seen in class to be able to know real data and meet those deadlines and costs, because not following what is agreed not only harms our ability and capabilities as project managers, but also our integrity as people.